Welcome to the Revolution Dentistry Podcast.
Welcome everybody to another very special episode of the Revolution Dentistry Podcast. Today we have with us a very special guest, Gerritt Cora, who is the VP of Progressive Dental and the Closing Institute. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
I mean, we're here at the Closing Institute event in Dallas, all right, and we're having an incredible time. Incredible speakers have been lining up and sharing with us all of the impressive details of how the Closing Institute is helping dentists with All on X marketing and with closing these cases. So what we want to know, Gerritt, is how the Closing Institute is helping dentists, pretty much how it's disrupting the industry and innovating the industry, and how you guys are doing things that have never been done before to help dentists do all on X cases, to close on them, and to grow their practices. What are you guys doing that's different that other people just are missing the mark on?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and thank you guys for coming out. I think the main thing is, you know, we're in a market where there's just so many people that need help. There's a lot of misinformation about all on X, and I think sometimes people think when we talk about closing and sales that it has to be a negative thing, like we're forcing people to do things that they don't need, and that's been a stigma in all healthcare, that sales is a bad thing. And when we talk about sales and we talk about closing, it's really about helping patients make educated, informed decisions and guiding them. As we know, many of these millions of patients, they procrastinate, they put healthcare off, and it compounds. It becomes a domino effect, and a lot of those end up the patients in our practice. And it's from years and years of neglect and procrastination and wasting money on things that aren't bettering their life and bettering their health. So absolutely, I think it's a paradigm shift, because so many people are focused on, you know, the negative aspects of sales when it's really a positive thing. It's how do you take someone from A to Z and help them improve their life and ultimately transform their life. And, you know, many of these doctors that have embraced these systems, you know, a lot of offices can go out there and market and advertise. You know, every corner you have a digital marketer that says they're an expert in dental implant marketing, and what anyone will tell you who's done that is, well, the leads weren't qualified, or we couldn't get somebody to move forward. And it's kind of like the age-old thing that you hear in practices go from marketing company to marketing company. We've positioned ourselves as the leaders in the market. We've grown exponentially, not by volume, but by client retention. A lot of people don't realize that. We have one of the highest client retention rates in all of dentistry. That's incredible. And it's because of the Closing Institute and our ability to work with the team, stay engaged with them. Our offices that do that, they really understand influence. They stay engaged. They constantly try to improve their communication systems with the patients. These practices very quickly become unstoppable. Right. And that's why people look at these courses and they're like, man, how do they fill it? These people just keep coming back for more and more and more. And, you know, this last conference we did, we had over 2,000 people attend. This conference, we have over 1,000 in attendance. We're going to be doing a program in Orlando. Last year we had, you know, mega sports goats. We had Tom Brady there. We had a ton of celebrities.
Mark Wahlberg.
There. Yeah, it was insane. This year's going to be even bigger. We're expecting over 3,000 attendees in Orlando, October 24th and 25th.
We'll be there.
And it's from sponsors and supporters that we see here. I mean, every major player in the industry is here supporting these events. And it really is, it's not about the events. It's not about sales. It's really about what's the end result, and it's changing lives. Change the patient's life, change the doctor's life, and change the team's life. I mean, we have team members that are making more money than they've ever had because they're changing more lives. And the more lives we can impact, the more money everybody makes.
You know, what I love about the Closing Institute is that you guys aren't just a marketing component. You're not just giving these doctors these qualified leads. You're teaching them how to, and showing their teams how to, you know, convert these leads. And that's what you guys have mentioned is absolutely necessary in this industry in order to close these cases. And I think, and I know for a fact, that's the reason why your retention is so high, is because you're showing these dentists, you're showing these treatment coordinators, you're doing the teaching and training necessary to help them close these leads. So that's what sets you guys apart, is that your success rate is incredible. And I just don't know anyone else doing it as well as you guys.
Yeah, well, thank you, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's a huge part of it, and a lot of it has just come from, we've been doing this for almost 20 years. We've seen the failures. Yeah. We've seen the instances where the practice, the leader didn't implement, and it's always, well, the leads weren't there, or the leads weren't qualified, or the patients could afford it. Most people seeking these types of treatment, I think you guys got to understand that most people in today's market, about 75%, give or take, of the population lives paycheck to paycheck. So in all reality, you could say that about 3/4 of population, we could argue, is not qualified to buy treatment if we were going to talk paying cash. How many of these patients now are needing financing? Financing isn't always easy, so you have to figure out ways to get creative and stage treatment and make this stuff affordable for patients, but also provide a high quality level of care. So I think where we've succeeded and we're constantly trying to evolve is we don't stop until the clients are getting the results so that they can change more lives and they can ultimately help more patients say yes. And marketing is one spoke on the wheel. I think a lot of people get it twisted. They think they can run a marketing campaign and all of a sudden their business is going to blow up. The other thing that we've seen is, you see this in a lot of practices, the age-old saying where, oh, we don't need any help in our office with closing cases. If you get them to us, we'll close them. And I've seen so many of those practices struggle over the years. The key is, look, I don't care how good you are, you got to constantly keep trying to get better. Right. If you're an NFL athlete, if you're an MLB baseball player, do you train more once you get to the pros or less? You train more. So I encourage even some of the most skilled treatment coordinators to come and master your craft. Right. And get better. It's like anything. If you focus on it, if you target it, if you isolate it, if you get better at it, you're going to get better day by day. You're going to dominate your space. And that's what these practices are doing, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
Absolutely. And at TCI, you guys have trained many phenomenal treatment coordinators. So I guess my question would be, what are some common characteristics of treatment coordinators you've trained that ended up succeeding and doing very well?
I think for treatment coordinators out there, you just got to be open to always getting better, no matter how successful you've been, no matter what your case. Sometimes we take case acceptance personally. Oh, and you'll hear a treatment coordinator say, I close at 90%. I love you guys. I'm yet to see that in reality, but I know some of you are great. Some of my referral-based surgical practices, you get a lot of referrals.
Only you and Bart could do that.
I don't close at 90%. I close at about 30%.
Okay.
And the reality is, if you bat 300, you're in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Yeah. So realize, I'll tell treatment coordinators out there, if you're doing 20, 30 arches a month, 10 arches a month, 5 arches a month, and you can close a full arch candidate at 30%, you'll be in the Full Arch Hall of Fame. And it's not just about full arch. It's about patient transformation. And, you have to work at it. And I think for the treatment coordinators that really take this on, no matter how good you are, no matter how experienced you are, no matter how long you've been doing this, you got to be open to learning new systems, trying new things, and implementing them. I'm also seeing a lot of great treatment coordinators. Guys, dentistry is an amazing business for people outside of the industry that want to come in. I came in 17 years ago into dentistry from outside of dentistry. I never in the wildest dreams would have thought I would end up in dentistry like a lot of the people in this room. And the reality is like we have a lot of amazing talent out there coming over from the financial sector, from real estate, from insurance, from other areas of healthcare. Like there are amazing salespeople or great communicators that we're bringing into dentistry now to be able to help better educate and communicate with patients and ultimately lead them to a path of success.
Something that I found extremely impressive with TCI is that you guys, in markets that are extremely, if you can say saturated, let's talk about Dallas, let's talk about Miami, Southern California, Phoenix, all these different markets that are really competitive, you guys don't give up on those GP practices or those all-on-X implant centers in those areas. Even though it's extremely difficult, you guys have innovated and have pivoted your strategies for these specific offices to help them be competitive and be different, set themselves apart. What I've learned here is that it's not about just trying to drive the price down. That's where a lot of these other practices are trying to compete, is just lower price. You guys help jump into a market like that and help practices see that it's not all about that and help them create strategies catered to their specific practice so that they can be competitive even though their prices might not be the lowest.
And that's a great point. I think there's a big misconception in the market, and I've dove into this market, the analytics, the data. You can go to the census, you could see patients with dentures. You could see completely a dentureless population data and statistics based on age per market. You can look at terminal dentition statistics and data. When you really peel the onion back, you realize how very little saturation there actually is. There's actually a big disparity between qualified clinicians who can actually do these procedures and patients who need this.
Okay.
We indicate that most busy markets that you would consider are saturated are only about 1.5% penetrated.
Oh, wow.
There's that much runway in this market, and a lot of people don't even have a clue. They assume because I'm in Dallas or because I'm in New York or I'm in LA that it's saturated. The reality is there's exponentially more patients needing these treatments. Now, if I was a general dentist, and we're trained that way, a lot of dentists are trained when they look at modeling, well, how many dentists per capita? Well, how many dentists per capita who need all on X can even do all on X?
Right.
And now you start seeing what the real opportunity is. The second thing is I don't need 50 all on X cases to transform my practice.
Right.
With 5 patients a month doing a couple arches, I could take a $3 million practice and turn it to a $6 million practice in 6 months or less.
Right.
So again, understand number one, the market is a lot less saturated than the mind might think, and like a lot of clinicians may think. There's a ton of runway. Okay. We're seeing a lot of growth. We're seeing a lot of trends, but you're absolutely right. This so-called race to the bottom isn't the answer. No. You see the $10,000 arches, the $8,000 arches, and the companies coming up with this. And yeah, they vertically integrated. They've built in lab systems so they can lower their costs. And I'm not going to say those options are bad or good. Some do amazing work at low prices. But I've also seen that over the last year and a half, a lot of the high-level clinicians doing 20, 30 arches a month have been able to increase their prices to a more reasonable level.
Right.
We're seeing national averages for those offices in the $20,000 to $25,000 range. Yes, you have your $15,000 to $20,000 players in certain markets, but I'm finding that it's not necessary. If you stand behind your work, if you have warranty systems, if you have ways to stand behind the cases and provide maintenance and things that are going to set these patients up for long-term success, we're leveraging technology like robotics and guided surgery and different types of technological systems. We're now bringing in lasers, laser technology. A lot of people don't know, like we started this business 16, 17 years ago. Bart was a huge advocate for periodontal laser surgery and saving teeth. And now we're bringing that back full circle, and we're talking about peri-implantitis, and we're talking about failures. We're talking about complications, and we're talking about guiding people on how to not just do this right, but set themselves up for long-term success. So it's much, much more than just price. At the end of the day, we're talking about trying to set up a solution that's going to help these patients for the remainder of their life.
I like that about setting a guarantee and standing behind your work as a dentist, and how you guys are helping these dentists do that, right? So then they're able to, there's methods out there now to help, reverse or stop bone loss in the case of peri-implantitis. I've been seeing some technology out here with like lasers and whatnot that are kind of getting into that space, which is incredible. So I think that's really awesome. So before we sign off here with Gerritt, Cora, is there anything that you would say that you haven't already said to a dentist out there aspiring to get more all-on-X into their practice?
I would say, and thank you guys for having me, I think the biggest thing is if you're looking to go to the next level, you got to invest in your team. You got to build that team culture. If you want more from your team, I think you have to look in the mirror and you got to be a better leader. You got to invest in your team. I see so many clinicians, they invest in clinical CE, which is great. Invest in your team. Don't just take them to courses, but give them a track. Show them how they can also earn more as you hit goals. It's a team effort. Everybody wins. Go all in on this stuff. If you're serious about doing it, and like many of you, if you've done any of these cases and done them well, beyond the financial benefits, you become very passionate about changing these lives because you see the gratitude that comes from these patients. It fills your heart up. And that's why I do what I do. I've been successful with it. I'm very fortunate to have been as successful as we have. But I can tell you the real success is the success stories of the practices we work with, the treatment coordinators who've scaled and grown and doubled and tripled their income, the doctors who were struggling to make ends meet, and now they're making millions of dollars at doing the dentistry they love. And that's really what it's all about, helping more people get fulfilled. So if you guys haven't been to a course, we're doing some really cool stuff. We're putting millions of dollars in raising the education. We're bringing in some of the best in the world. We're going to have some incredible announcements coming soon. We're bringing some of the best speakers, best educators, best trainers from all areas of industry in the world to help these practices. And this isn't theory. This is success, and this is how do we change more lives. And the last thing that I always say is your success, the money you make, is directly tied to the number of lives you impact. If you impact people and you help people, the rest is history. So I think the future is bright. There's a ton of opportunity moving forward.
Absolutely, man, that's so powerful. If somebody wanted to check out more about Progressive and the Closing Institute and find out some upcoming events that they can attend, where should they go about connecting?
TheClosingInstitute.com. You can learn all about our courses. We'll be releasing our speakers for the October conference here shortly. And it's going to be one of the biggest events in dentistry. We're prepared for over 3,000 in attendance for that. We've got about half of that already RSVP'd. So it's going to be one of the biggest events in dentistry, and we hope to see everyone there. And you can always check out progressivedental.com or theclosinginstitute.com, and we'd love to have you out as our guest.
Well, awesome. Well, you guys heard it here. Thank you, Gerritt, for coming on with us. We super appreciate you. This has been the Revolution Dentistry Podcast. We're here every week to help you grow, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.